Hello, I'm Stephanie, and this is Texas Peach Knits. Today is Saturday, June the 1st, and it has been a couple months since I did a full podcast. I really enjoyed my State of the Stash video that I believe I filmed in early May or maybe late April. Time has been flying. I've completely lost track. I'm coming to you from west of Fort Worth, Texas, where I live with my musician husband, as you can tell from my background behind me, and my 4 children that I homeschool. Today is summer, right? Are you in summer? I have completed the majority of our schoolwork for the year. Just my freshman in high school has a few more assignments to complete, so I am glad to be winding down into summer. Today I have a finished object to share with you today. I have another finished object. I have a couple of half finished objects and some things that I've made really good progress on and new things. So lots to talk about. I'm also starting my Texas Peach Knits Fluff Your Stash 2024. And the Fluff Your Stash is a very casual, organizational, make-along, stash-loving adventure that goes from June 1st today through August 31st. I'm going to be filming a separate video with all of my Fluff Your Stash tips and tricks, along with some organizational ideas and ideas for enjoying your stash. So look forward to that in a week or two. In the meantime, if you would like the really cool Texas Peach Knits Fluff Your Stash coloring page, send me an email at texaspeachknits@gmail.com. So this year I'm doing it a little bit differently. It's kind of a DIY. You pick what you want to do and color in your balls of yarn on your coloring page. You can enter to win prizes through Instagram. You can tag me in your stories showing pictures of things you're fluffing, and also if you want to post to your wall on Instagram, just be sure to tag me, because I'm going to be keeping track since Instagram doesn't do great with hashtags anymore, and that way everyone gets entered. You can also email me if you want to be sure that you're entered. And then you can send me a photo of your coloring page at any point, but at the end of the summer, if you have completely filled in your yarn bucket, send that to me by August 31st and you will be entered to win our grand prize. So I'm not going to tell you what that is yet, but it's going to be good. The other thing about prizes is if while you are fluffing, you come across anything that you think someone else might enjoy, you are welcome to send them my way and I will spread the yarny love. So you can donate prizes to Stash Fluffing, and even if you think it's like, oh, this isn't that great, I can always combine it with something I have or something someone else sends, and it's just fun to win prizes. So some of the prizes might be funny, some of the like maybe I'll send a ball of red heart to somebody, but this is for fun. This is just a summer thing, and like I said, I'm going to do a whole video with tips, tricks, links to other videos. I've been watching all kinds of organizational videos for all different topics, because I feel like that's a topic that can go it doesn't have to be like type specific. So I have some really good ideas to share with you. This is not about getting rid of your stash. This is not about the no stash buying. This is about keeping your stash fresh and organized, clean and tidy, and knowing what you have so that you can enjoy it and use it. Because I know I'm not the only person that goes digging through the stash buckets and finds a sweater quantities of yarn that I forgot about. So yes, organize that stash. It needs an annual fluffing, and I'm here to facilitate that. So check me out on Instagram, and I will have more things there throughout the summer. You can always email me, and if you have any great tips or anything that has worked really awesome for you, send it my way. Tell me about it. I would love to share it this summer through the podcast, because maybe it will help someone else. Okay, that's my spiel about the fluffier stash. So on to finished objects. You guys notice? Look! I am so happy with this finished object. This is my Wildflower tee. It's a pattern by Wise Owl Knits, and I used all fingering weight sock yarn, and I used, this pattern calls for, I think, primarily one skein, one full skein, and then lots of minis. And because I used my full skein color in several places where I could have used a mini, I ended up needing 2 skeins, but I didn't use a full 2 skeins. I think I used like a skein and 3/4 of this tealy blue color. So this is what I have left over of the minis and full skeins that I used. I ended up using this full skein of Malabrigo, and I think someone said this is like a grapes. Someone in the comments, thank you. A grapes colorway. That's what I used for these dark flowers and the centers here. So I needed a higher contrast yarn. And then these other ones I used, the green, orange, and brown. These were from Porch Fiber Co. And she has a shop. I don't know if she still sells yarn that she dyes, but she sells all kinds of cute project bags and stitch markers, and she has her own podcast, so you should check out her podcast. I won a mini set from her last year, and I was so happy to put it into this project. And then lastly, I had from my friend Emily of Woldenburn, which also she has her own podcast, this beautiful purpley pink color, and that is what I used for the background behind these flowers. And this was a mini skein. I think it was a larger mini skein, but I used almost the whole thing. And I think I also had this yellow from her that's here and up here, and I don't see it, so I either dropped it on the floor or I used it all. So this main color is Undergrowth in the Madelintosh Tosh sock. And I had purchased this a very, very long time ago when the Madelintosh store in downtown Fort Worth was going out of business. So, or closing. They didn't really go out of business. They just went totally online. But this was one of the things I picked up on sale there, and that is what I used for my main color. So I knit the size 40, or 4, let me look. I knit the size 4. It is a 45-inch bust, and I did not measure my gauge. And I think my gauge was a little loosey-goosey because I ended up getting to this flower and not needing the additional colorwork flower that was supposed to go below it. So I decided to just stop where I was with the yoke and get going. So I don't know exactly how many stitches I ended up with around. I'll have to check that because that seems important to know. And I just went from there. So I think I was just really relaxed when I was knitting this. But I love the details. Like these look like little picket fences, this little tulip. This flower is my modification, which in my March knitting episode, I talk about the modification I made to make these flowers, but everything else was Cheryl's pattern. The modifications to the body that I made, where I did not do the rolled collar, I just did a 2x2 rib. But I did do her short rows on the back of the neck, and I'm so happy I did because they look so good and they make it fit so nice. I did 2x2 rib around the arm and around the waist. And the other modification I did is because I felt like I had so much fabric here, I ended up doing kind of like bust darts in the front and in the back where I decreased, and I also decreased under the arm. So I ended up taking out probably 24 to 26 stitches. I primarily took them out of the sides and the back, but I did take a few out of the front. And when I stand up, you will see that the back is kind of loose on me. And I think if I knit this again, I might go down a size, and just so that it's a different, I don't want to duplicate this one. I love this one. I will just wear this one. But if I knit the pattern again to have one different, I think I will go down a size and I will lengthen the body. Because this one I made much more cropped than I normally make a sweater, but I really wanted to be able to wear it over dresses. But it's funny because I put it on with blue jeans today and I just can't lift my arms. So as long as I don't lift my arms, it's fine. But I'm going to stand up and show you the whole sweater, and then hopefully you maybe will be able to see where I took stitches out. And I feel like you can do that with any sweater pattern that's top down. Like if you decide it's like too baggy somewhere, you just every couple of rows in the same spot, you know, take out a stitch, do a knit two together, or a slip knit, depending on which way you want it to lean. I can never remember which one goes which way, and you can kind of form your own darts to kind of shape the sweater. So, and then my last row, I think I decreased every 10 stitches or so before I went into the ribbing. I know that's a lot, but I think I'm an organic knitter. Like I'm just going along and I'm like, I think I'll take out a stitch here. Oh, I think I'm going to change this. And I'm probably a terrible pattern tester because I don't follow exactly what the pattern said. It is very rare. So anyways, let me stand up and I'll show you the whole thing. Okay, make sure I'm far enough back. So this is how short it is, which is pretty short. For me, normally I like things more here, but over a dress, it is perfect. I don't know if you can see where I took stitches out. I can't even really feel it. But I definitely took them out under the arm. And see how the back kind of... I took them out back here. I probably could have taken out a few more, but I actually think that's kind of cute. Okay, so if you have not knit a Wildflower tee yet, I highly recommend the pattern. It was really fun to knit the yoke. When I got to the like constant stockinette, there were color changes down here that I could have done, and I left those out because I just wanted to like zombify and just go. But all the ones that I've seen that have those color Fair Isle in the body, it's just really minimal. It looks really nice. So definitely highly recommend. Her pattern is awesome. Just make sure you check your gauge, and even if you don't check your gauge, you can make it all, you can make it work. There you go. So anyways, that's my first big finished object. The next one is the most cutest thing. One of my friends, I had knit a sock and hat set for her baby probably 2 years ago, and now her sister-in-law is having identical twin boys, and she wanted to have a special present to give them, so she asked me to knit a hat and socks for the baby. And it was really sweet because she sent me a photo of the socks I had given her, and that, you know, 2 years later she still has those tiny little socks. That's just really sweet. I love that. And so of course I was like, yes, this sounds so fun, knitting for babies and knitting for twins, so much fun. So I made these hats, and this is out of KnitCircus, a blue gradient, and you might recognize it. I'm going to tell you more about it. And I knit the hats on size 3 DPNs, and I cast on 88 stitches and did 2x2 rib for I think 10 rows. And then I knit the straight stockinette of the hat until it was the height of my cell phone, because I had it with me when I was knitting them. And then I decreased every, I think I did like, since it was 88, I divided by 11. So the first round I knit 9, knit 2 together all the way around. So I did just a simple, this one's blowing out. I should show you the darker blue one. Just a simple decrease on the brim. So I decreased a row, knit a flat row, decreased a row 5 times, and then the rest of the times until I got down to the last few stitches, I decreased every row. So the babies are due in August, so I'd really like the hats to fit all fall. So they might be slightly larger than a traditional like newborn hat, but I think it's going to be great because they can always roll up the brim and it still looks cute. So those are the hats. And then these are the socks. Aren't they so small? They are just so cute. Can you just imagine little twin feet in those? So this pattern is Woolen Cottage Tiny Toes Baby Socks, and it is a free pattern from the Woolen Cottage blog. And it is a cast on 32 and do 2x2 rib and ribbing on the top, and then just normal little heel flap, gusset, and I did kind of a modified umbrella toe. I don't even know what I did. There were so few stitches down here that I was just decreasing like crazy. And then I think I cast off when I only had I did the Kitchener on over 8 total stitches, so it was 4 on each needle. It was the fastest Kitchener ever. So I ended up knitting these socks 2 at a time on size 1 circular needles, and I did 1 of each color because I had 2 balls, and then I did the other 2 socks, and that worked out really well. It actually only took me, I think, maybe 2.5 days to do each set of socks. So if you had a last minute, like say you had a baby shower coming up, you could make the hat, because the hat only took me maybe 2 days. And the socks took me about 2 days. So if you had a whole week until a baby shower, you could do this. So, and definitely on size 3 needles, the hat was super, super fast. These were probably the most fiddly because of having to like count how many rows I had and working 2 at a time. Probably 1 at a time they would be faster, but I don't have the data to tell you that because I did both sets 2 at a time. So anyways, they're so cute. And I think the little set is just darling. But I can tell you how much yarn these took. So if you do want to make them, if you want to make a hat and socks combo, it used 33 grams. And you could probably use less if you made the hat slightly shorter, if you didn't. Now, the socks by themselves only used 12 total grams. So like a 20-gram mini skein could make you baby socks. That's amazing. And the hat by itself was 21 grams. And like I said, you could make it just a little bit shorter and you could get it out of a 20-gram mini skein. Fingering weight, superwash yarn, awesome. So anyway, she's picking these up today, which prompted me to podcast, so you can thank Trisha for a podcast. So what I was going to tell you about this yarn, and it kind of goes with my fluffing of my stash, is that this is the yarn that I started to use for my Stephen West mystery shawl, if you remember that episode. And then because I ended up not knitting the mystery, I started another shawl, which I really love and I really wanted, and it's really beautiful. And here it is. This is the darkest color. And it's very partially knit. This is the O'Kelly's Chapel shawl, and it's from a, oh gosh, what's that magazine called? I can't believe I'm blanking on that. Anyways, it's from a very popular knitting magazine from a long time ago. It's at the back. So this has become a womp womp for me because I hate two-sided lace. I just hate it. I hate having to follow a chart on both sides of the project. It's just really hard for me. And I just don't have enough brain cells right now in my life to be able to do that. And to be able to do it consistently where every time I pick it up, I don't have to relearn what I'm doing, because I feel like every time I picked it up, I had to be like, okay, where am I? What was I doing? What's going on? Because it wasn't something that I could just grab at any point in the day. I really had to like make time for it. So knitting these hats and socks gave me the permission I needed to frog this project. So this is going to be my first frog of my Fluff My Stash. And all of these beautiful blue Gradiet yarns, who knows what they're going to be. Maybe they are going to all be baby things. Maybe they're going to be a different shawl. I don't know. I still have enough of the ones that I used for the hats to use them in combination for a shawl. There's plenty of yarn here. I just can't do this anymore. So this is my first frogging for the summer. And I hope it inspires you to look at that project that has been sitting on your needles and you just can't make yourself work on it, even though you love it, even though the idea of it was so great, even though you had the perfect yarn for it, it doesn't matter. Frog it. And this is one of the things I'm going to talk about in my tips and tricks video, and something I have to tell myself, which I think is rather silly, but do not personify your knitting projects. This does not have feelings. This beautiful yarn does not care if I turn it into this or if I turn it into something else. So you're not hurting your project's feelings by frogging it. Yes, we have to let go of something we thought we could do. Yes, we have to let go of a goal that we had, but it's okay. Frog the project. So hopefully you guys are not just screaming at your phones being like, no, don't frog it. We loved that. We wanted to see the finished product. You're not going to see it. At least not from me. It's not going to happen. So there you go. That's my spiel for today. But these are so cute. This is more my speed right now, and it's okay. I do make complicated, beautiful things. I mean, I just made this. So it's not like not being able to make the shawl means that I'm not a good knitter. You're a good knitter too. Even if you frog things, it's okay. Let's move on. I'm ready for a half-finished object. How about you? Yes. So, Mystery Mouse Yarn, the lovely Holly of the Mystery Mouse podcast, sent me her little blue truck sock yarn set, and I wanted to make socks for my boys. And I measured feet, and man, my boys are not tiny boys anymore. So I ended up making a 56 stitch sock. I think I heard on the Crazy Sock Lady, she said like once a kid is 10, it's a 56 stitch sock. So my son is turning 10 this summer. I decided to knit my older son socks first. And this is 2x2 ribbing. That's why it looks all squished. I didn't bring my sock blockers. I should have. So 2x2 ribbing, 56 stitches. I did the stripes at the top to make them look sporty. And I did the knit a whole row when I switched colors so that there wouldn't be purl bumps. So I believe I did, okay, so I did 6 rows of blue and then 5, 5, 5. This might have been 5 with the cast on. The only problem with this is that if he decides to fold it over, and I don't know whether or not this is actually a problem, but I say problem, is if you fold it over, you get all the purl bumps. I mean, it's not terrible. I bet he'll wear them up like this. So they look so funny with the ribbing because they're not stretched out. So that's the one that is finished other than weaving in the ends. And the second one is almost done too. So I think these are super, super cute. And I'm going to use the rest of the yarn to make a set for my younger son. And I think I'm going to do heels and toes with the contrast color instead of the stripes, just so they look different and they don't get mixed up. So very good. And I'll probably weigh these, see how much yarn it used, weigh how much I have left, and make sure I don't need to do shorty socks. But I think I'm gonna get 2 pairs. I'm positive about this. So that was Mystery Mouse yarn, her little blue truck colorway that goes with the book. It is fabulous to work with. It is so like plump and just super, super nice 75-25 sock yarn. Okay. And next, I have another Mystery Mouse yarn. She sent me, well, I'll show the full skein first. This is the Sense and Sensibility colorway on 75-25 Superwash Merino. It is 437 yards. And this has knit up gorgeous. I have a half finished object. I decided to do a completely vanilla sock, 2x2 ribbing, 20 rows at the top, slip stitch heel, knit to fit a size 8, and they are so beautiful and calming, and I love the mixed in pinks with these like soft golden yellows. They are so, they remind me of like the kind of socks you would like wear at the spa. So just so relaxing. And usually I don't think of yellow as a relaxing color, but I don't know, this is just the right tone of yellow. So I am knitting these for a friend that I wanted to pray for, and here is my second one on the go. And I just thought that knitting a pair of very vanilla socks, very easygoing, I could carry it anywhere with me, was exactly what I needed. And I'll be giving them maybe before my next podcast. I don't know. So you might not see these both finished. I'll be giving them away. So I love them. And Sense and Sensibility is what the Fancy Reading and Needlecrafts Club is reading right now for the summer. It's a very casual read along, and it's all on Telegram. So if you have not joined our book club, it is with Holly and Emily of Holly of Mystery Mouse and Emily of Woldenburn. We are just reading and talking, and it's a very low key, and everyone is much farther ahead in the book than me, and that's okay. This is actually the first time I have actually read the book because I just loved the Emma Thompson movie and had that memorized and just never got around to reading the book. So it's very nice to actually read it, and the discussion is great. It's interesting what social commentary Jane Austen fit into her novels. While they still seem like a love story, but it's like all full of social commentary. So anyways, Sense and Sensibility, and Holly dyed up mini skeins that I saw that are also very beautiful. If this is your favorite book or favorite movie and you want to snag some Sense and Sensibility yarn, go check out Holly, and email me if you want the link to the Telegram group. So But the exciting thing is that Holly sent me this to give away, and this is going to be the first thing I give away for the Texas Peach Fluff Your Stash this summer. So start posting on Instagram, send me emails. Like every time you contact me about Fluff Your Stash, I will be like putting a check mark next to your name to put you in the drawing. So send me all the things, do all your stuff, clean your room, and you could win this beautiful skein of yarn. So this will be the first one that I give away. And I will be drawing at least 3 prizes, one at the end of June, which might be the beginning of July. So one for June, one for July, one for August, and the grand prize. So I guess that's 4. So hold me to that. We're fluffing our stashes. Here we go. And thank you, Holly. Okay, man. Sorry. I should podcast more so I don't have all the things, but if you know me in person and you know what my May was like, so we're not going there. Okay. Here's one that I worked on a lot prior to May and then didn't work on it all in May, but I haven't shown it in a while. And that is my old Shetland shawl by somebody whose name I can't remember, and I didn't bring the book, and I've shown it before, so I will just have it below if you really want to know. This is with my Handspun and with KnitPicks palette, which are very similar textures and weights to each other. I have finished one, so this shawl is a square, but you knit one side of the square like this. I guess it's more like this. You knit this, and then you knit this, and then you knit the middle. I did this part. It's done. And it's stuck. I did not prep this project, as you can tell. Here we go. It is very long. I do not know how many inches wide it is. I have not measured, and I cannot straighten it out all the way on here. But I love it. Look, it's already kind of like a shawl. This is gonna be huge. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the dark gray is Handspun. Then it's palette in Calypso Heather, Caribbean Heather, something like that. Marine Heather. This is some kind of like gold something. There's a light blue-green one. And then the light gray is Handspun again. And then the colors repeat. I did make a mistake, like is normal for me. This light blue row was supposed to be the dark blue. So it's supposed to be dark, 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 light, 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 dark, dark, dark. And I messed that up. So I got a bonus light row, and then I decided to put the dark here. I don't care. So now I just have to make this mistake on the other one. We'll see if that happens. So the other side now needs to be knit. So this is like 2 sides of the square. This is the center. And then you'll seam this side to like the next one. And it'll be a big square. And then the whole center area is going to be my light gray handspun because I have tons of it. So here is the light gray handspun, and I have like 3 more balls of this. I have so much. And this is the start of the second edge, and I was really trying to zoom on this because I want it done. But it's such a mess. It's like, see, look how long that is. It's longer than my wingspan. So this will be the bottom edge. And then you pick up all the stitches and you do this all over again. But I worked on this a ton because in May we had an unexpected trip to South Texas, and I had 8 hours of knitting in the car, actually 16, because we had to drive there and then we had to drive back. 16 hours of knitting. And I primarily worked on this. This was my priority. So this got done, and then this is almost done. I can't wait. It's gonna be so great. But it's not my #1 priority right now, so it has been in the bag, so we'll see. Hopefully I will work on it more this summer. And I will have all the information I know about it down below if you want any of the colors or the pattern. But I do know that there are, since this was out of a book, there are other patterns, PDFs available of these like big square Shetland shawls. So you don't have to buy the book. I think it's called like Country Weekend Knits maybe. But gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I have one more thing. Here it comes. Because in the Texas Peach Knits Fluff Your Stash, you can color in a yarn ball every time you work on a whip that you started before June. Because of that, I cast on David's Fair Isle vest because I want to count it as a whip for the whole summer that I'm working on. And so I cast on like 2 days ago in May so that it will count. And I haven't gotten very far. I did have a minor panic attack because I thought I had lost my swatch. Let me find my swatch. I thought I had lost my swatch. And I did this swatch in January and I hadn't lost it. It was just mixed in the bag with all the yarns. But the real problem is I had not written down my gauge from the swatch. So I had photos of the swatch, but I didn't have a way to measure my gauge from the photo. So I really needed the swatch because I knew that I was going to have to cast on more stitches than the pattern called for it to fit David, and I did not want to have to swatch and wash the swatch again. So what am I knitting for him? I talked about this back in January, but I'm going to refresh your memory. I am going back to good old Elizabeth Zimmerman. I am knitting the Stu's Fair Isle vest. And it is just fabulous. Of course, I will be making some minor modifications, and Elizabeth Zimmerman does say that she does not want you to follow her pattern, but just be creative and do your own thing. So while I am following her pattern, it is basically 100% that I will be not doing it exactly the way she did it. So I think she will be okay with me following her pattern. So anyways, I will be doing this. I will be updating you hopefully throughout the summer, but at least once at some point, on my progress and on following an Elizabeth Zimmerman pattern if you have never knit one of her things. I have knit the baby surprise jacket several times and I love that pattern. I have not knit it in probably 10 years, so I think I'm due to knit another one of those. But when I was knitting it, I think I knit 4 or 5 of them. So they are just so much fun. But this is from Knitting Workshop, and I have a few of her books, and this style of Fair Isle vest was very, very popular last winter, and my husband David is just, he is ready to wear it. So my goal is to have it done for Christmas. So we will see. And if I work on it this summer, that will get me a really good start. And casting on, that's how you start, right? Okay. Well, it was good talking to you all. Let me know what you've been up to. Let me know what you've been knitting. Send me an email if you want the Fluff Your Stash PDF. I have missed podcasting, and hopefully this summer, now that things are settling down, I will be able to podcast more frequently, and I'll definitely be doing Fluff Your Stash episodes, at least one, probably more than that, and I'll talk to you more later. Bye.